Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We're going to start with Yai Lai Lai all together. Ya Lai La Lai Lai, Ya Lai La Lai Lai, Ya Lai La Lai Lai, Ya La Lai, Ya La Lai, Ya Lai La Lai Lai, Ya Lai La Lai Lai, Ya Lai La Lai Lai, Ya La Lai, Ya La Lai, Ya Lai La Lai Lai, Ya Lai, Ya Lai, Ya Lai La Lai Lai, Ya La Lai Lai Lai. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Let me hear your voices. Ya Lai Lai, Ya Lai La Lai Lai, Ya Lai La Lai Lai, Ya Lai La Lai Lai, Ya La Lai, Ya La Lai, Ya Lai La Lai Lai, Ya Lai La Lai Lai, Ya Lai La Lai Lai, Ya La Lai, Ya La Lai, Ya Lai La Lai Lai, Ya Lai, Ya Lai, Ya Lai La Lai Lai, Ya La Lai Lai Lai. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom,
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It is such a joy and pleasure to welcome you all here to Temple Shir Tikva as we come together to celebrate Shabbat. And this is one of our Shabbat B'yachad services, which means Shabbat together. And so we sing some tunes that might be a little different from the ones we sing in our other weeks of Shabbat. These are some of the tunes that we sing in our Hineni in our religious school. And it's wonderful to have Lexi Weekly back, who was our song leader for 3 years. I think it was 3 years here at Temple Shir Tikva. And unfortunately, she left us for New York, but we're doing everything we can to kind of slowly but surely bring her back to the Boston area. And so it's wonderful to have her leading services together with us this Shabbat. And I'm Rabbi Danny, for those of you that I haven't met. And if I haven't met you, please do come say hello at the end of the service. It's wonderful to be here with all of you. And so in this beautiful setting outside with the sounds of nature around us, we're going to begin by taking in a deep breath, a neshima amukah, to truly enter into this space. So we'll breathe in together, and we'll breathe out. And we'll breathe in one more time, and we'll breathe out. And so as we enter into this space, we celebrate how nice it is for us all to be back together again with the words of Hinei Matov.
Hinei Matov. Umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Try that with me. Hinei matov. Clap, clap. Umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Repeat after me. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is.
To be together on this day. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is.
To be together on this day. Together, Hinei. Hinei Matov. Umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei Matov. Umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Repeat after me. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is.
To be together on this day. You sound so beautiful. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is.
To be together on this day. Really loud. Hinei. Hinei matov. Umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Last time all together. Hinei matov. Umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
So as we turn to page 2 in our Siddurim for the lighting of the Shabbat candles, the lighting of the Shabbat candles outside is, let's say, a work in progress. Last week, we didn't manage to get them lit, period. This week, we're pretty confident we'll get them lit, but we're also pretty confident they won't stay lit.
קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של Shabbat.
While it's not the tradition to say this prayer on a Friday evening in the evenings at all, there's a beautiful prayer on a Friday evening in the evenings at all. There's a beautiful prayer in our liturgy, which is a praising God for the gift of our bodies and for the fact that our bodies are working and we're able to be here together to celebrate. And so we're going to offer the words of that prayer together. And you can find some of the lines that will be sung on page 77 in that Hebrew. But we hope you'll join with us as we give thanks to God for the gift of our bodies. And there's a few bits with some movements and some motions, and we hope you'll join in.
We start with the word whoa because our bodies are so amazing. We say whoa, our bodies are so incredible. Try that with me. Whoa. Whoa. Little higher, whoa. A little higher, whoa. All the way up. Whoa. I thank you. I thank you for my life, body and soul. Help me realize I am beautiful and whole. Help me realize I am beautiful and whole. I'm perfect the way I am and a little broken too. I'm perfect the way I am and a little broken too. I will live each day as a gift I give to you. I will live each day as a gift I give to you. All right, here we go. We're starting with the woes, starting really low. Whoa. Little higher, whoa. Let's go up, whoa. Basar umafli la'asot. Rofeh chol basar umafli la'asot. Baruch atah Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai. Rofeh chol basar umafli la'asot. Rofeh chol basar umafli la'asot. All right, let's start a little bit quieter, really low. Here we go. Whoa. Little higher, whoa. Little louder, whoa. Let's hear your voices, whoa.
Having thanked God for the gift of our bodies, we turn together to page 2021 in our Siddurim, in our prayer books, where we'll be singing the words of Lecha Dodi, welcoming now the Shabbat bride into our midst. And for this service, we sing the first and the 9th verses. And so after that first verse, when we get to that 9th verse, we're going to rise as a community at that point, facing towards the door to welcome the Shabbat bride into our midst.
We sing the words Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Try that with us. Lecha Dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad hishmiyanu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shem u'tiferet v'letila. 1, 2, 3. Lecha Dodi likrat
we rise in body or in spirit, facing towards the door.
Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam v'simcha uv'tzola toch emunei am segula boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekavela. All together, lecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekavela.
And so we take a moment now to welcome one another, having welcomed the Shabbat bride. So turn to someone you don't know in the space, move around a little bit, introduce yourselves, share your life stories, tell each other who you are, and get to know one another. Shabbat Shalom if you're watching in Saratoga, in London, in
Shalom.
Greece, in LA.
Los Angeles.
Yeah, LA, give a shout out. Wherever you might be watching. Shabbat Shalom. So I'm going to invite everyone to take a seat. I'm sorry to interrupt the conversations. So if everyone would like to be seated, please. And so we continue now on page 26 with the words of the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'alma divrach hirotei ve'amlich malchutei b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael bagala uvizman kariv ve'imaru.
Amen.
Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'alam u'al le'amaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal Shemei dekudasha
Brechu
le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran ve'alma ve'imeru.
Amen. On page 28, we rise in body or in spirit, facing towards the east, which is that direction, for the Baruch Hu, our call to prayer.
Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yalalai, yalalai, lai, lai. 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Your turn. Baruch Adonai
HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed. Yalalai, lai, lai. Yalalai, lai, lai. Yalalai, lai, lai. Yalla lai lai lai. Yalla lai lai lai. If you'll please be seated. On page 30 and 31, we have the blessing that recognizes the move from light to dark, from day to night. And we sing these words with the closing chatimah, which is the word for the closing blessing that you'll find on that page.
Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns. Try that with us. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Borei, borei, om balayla, golel or mipnei choshech, golel or mipnei choshech, vechoshech mipnei or. Roll into dark, roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
On page 34, we join together in the words of the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
On page 36.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha
ובכל
ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך.
והיו הדברים האלה
אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם
מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. Adonai Elohechem Emet. As we turn together to page 40, after our ancestors crossed over the sea, in a moment when you celebrate freedom, when you celebrate that escape, when you celebrate embarking on the journey towards the promised land, all you can do to celebrate is to sing. And so our ancestors in that moment sang a song, and with those words, we continue singing it each and every day, twice a day, with the Mi Chamocha. We celebrate our freedom on a daily basis, twice a day, because we should never take freedom for granted. Never get to a point where we don't celebrate all the gifts of freedom that we have. And also, just like our ancestors, never stop on that journey towards the promised land, which we're journeying on towards together. And so we join with these words of Mi Chamocha on page 40.
We start with the words, who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai? As we stood at the parted shore, we recall everything we're thankful for. And now we count the blessings each and every day, knowing that you have led our way. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai? Watch the sea split, and we stood still, frozen in awe of your greatness, for letting us prevail. And all of the hardship made us stronger, as we made our way through the parted waters. Who is like you? Who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai? Mi chamocha. Mi chamocha ba'elim, Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Nora tehilot osefele malchut chara'u vanecha. Vokei ayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Zeli anu Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai? All together, all our voices. Who is like you? Who is like you, Adonai?
I'll say it at the end of the service, but I've missed leading with Lexi. It's wonderful to have her back here at Shir Tikva as we turn to page 42, and we're going to join together in singing our prayer for the evening, the Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu lecha. Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai. Eloheinu leshalom. V'havidenu shomreinu. L'chaim. Spread the shelter. Spread the shelter of your peace over us. Guide us in wisdom, compassion, and trust. Hashkivenu Adonai. Eloheinu leshalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu. L'chaim. Save us for the sake of your name. Shield us from hatred, sorrow, and pain. Hashkivenu Adonai. Eloheinu leshalom. V'hamidenu shomreinu.
On page 46, the Amidah, our standing prayer, we rise in body or in spirit, once again facing behind us towards the door, towards the east, towards Jerusalem.
Tiftach ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu. Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chatzei Avot v'Imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Vezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol Atah Rav Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Berafeh Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umechayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memid, Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman Atah L'chayot HaKol, Baruch Atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol, Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kedoshim B'chol Yom L'chalelucha Selah, Baruch Atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
We continue silently now with our own private Amidah, our own private prayers, using the words of our hearts or the words of the Siddur, our prayer book, through until page 62. Please feel free to be seated at the conclusion of your prayers.
shalom. Bimroma, say shalom. Bimroma, hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu. Here we go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. We sing together, oh say shalom, oh say shalom. Bimroma, oh say shalom. Bimroma, hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down.
As we turn in our Siddurim to page 253, we know that while Shabbat is a day of joy and celebration, there are those amongst us who are suffering, those in need of healing of the mind, body, soul, or spirit. And so we take a moment now to offer a Misha Berach prayer, a prayer for their healing. This Shabbat we think about Abba Noach ben Yehudit, Eliza Dorfman, Avivia Sigalit bat Devora, Barbara Lanzett, Barbara Ziman, David Feldman, Diane McCaslin, Dina Lutin, Emma Held, Ethan Kadish, Gemma Rose Nicoletti, Harav Nechama bat Yaakov of Vernice, James Nicoletti, Jeremy Peeble, Julian Arce, Karen Gordon, Leah bat Fagel, Lily Stander, Lisa Shapiro, Mark Lampert, Meir Abba ben Ruven, Moshe Yoel ben Esther Avraham, Nechama bat Trainer Raziel, Pam Ross, Peter Gross, Robert Friedman, Ron Abramson, Sam Goldenberg, Sarah Fager bat Malka, Sarit Liat bat Panina Sarah, Stephen Rose, Susan Hoyer, Susan Scheller, Tyson Patinus, Joseph Ben Gittel, Catherine Giles, Margaret Sweeney, Susan Stone, Bernice Slater, Elizabeth Day, Malkiel Shlomo HaKohen, Ben Rivka Yehuda Leib, Ari Khan, Rochelle Leah bat Golda, Declan Alexander Kenny, Stephen Krasner, Pinchas Aaron Ben Shalom Mordechai Vesara Leah, Motel Liba bat Bess, Mark Volk, Yehuda Aryeh Ben Moshe Mordechai, Sheldon Zimmerman, Yitzchak Ben Gershon Veneta, Charlie Carroll, Herbert Levine, Valerie Kenny, and Sylvia Wolfson. If there are others you're thinking of in need of healing, please share their names now as I look around the space. For all of them, we offer this prayer for healing.
Mi sheperach avotenu mekor habracha li'imotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheperach imotenu mekor habracha Lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema. The renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
There was a town, and in this town, there was a baker. And the baker baked all of the bread for all of the people every single day. They had their routine, and baking bread, as you can imagine, was the same process pretty much each and every day, whether it was their wholemeal loaf, their rye bread, whatever it was, they baked the bread, and especially they baked the bread on Fridays so that everyone in the town could have the challah that they needed and that they wanted to celebrate Shabbat. And this baker, though, was starting to despair a little bit of only baking. And they started to wonder, maybe there's something else for me. Maybe I should be doing something other than baking. I wish there was a way that I could ask God if what I'm doing is what I'm supposed to be doing, or maybe I shouldn't be a baker anymore. And so the baker thought, what could they do to find out what God thought about them baking? And so they had an idea. They said, I'm going to bake the most beautiful challah that I can, and I'm going to give it to God. And if God takes and eats my challah, then I know I'm supposed to be a baker. But if God doesn't, then I will never bake another bread, cake, cookie, or anything ever again. So that Friday, the baker baked the most beautiful challah that they had ever created. And they took it with them to the Shabbat services in the synagogue. And they sat in the Shabbat service through all of the prayers, all of the blessings. And as you can imagine, they were nervous. Was God going to eat their challah or not? And at the end of the service, when everyone had left the sanctuary, they snuck back in. They snuck over to the ark. They opened the ark and they hid their challah inside the ark. And they said a little prayer. They said, if I'm supposed to be a baker, you will take my challah, you will eat my challah, and I'll know that I'll bake every day for the rest of my life, happy being the baker. But if you don't take my challah, I'll know that I shouldn't be a baker, and I'll never, ever bake again. And the baker left the sanctuary with the challah peeking out just ever so slightly through the ark. A little bit later on, the synagogue Shamus, who was the one who looked after the building, he was the person who was in there cleaning, tidying, doing everything for the people, came into the sanctuary, came into the synagogue and sat at the back. And he said, I don't have enough money for food for my family. We don't have enough food to celebrate even Shabbat. It is so hard. And please, God, if you could just give us something, because we want to make Shabbat a special day, but we have nothing to celebrate this day with. And as they finished their prayer, they got up, they looked, and they noticed there was something in the ark. And so they went up to the ark, they opened the curtains, and there was a challah. And the shamas looked up and said, thank you, God, for this gift of the challah. And they went home to their family, and that night, as they ate the challah, they had the most beautiful Shabbat they'd ever celebrated, with the most tasty, beautiful challah they'd ever eaten in their lives. And the next day, Shabbat morning services, the baker got up early. They were anxious. They wanted to know what they should be doing with their life. And so they rushed to the synagogue. They were the first ones in the building. They rushed straight up to the ark. They opened the ark, and the challah was gone. And they said, thank you, God, for taking this challah. Thank you for telling me that I should be a baker. And because I know you took my challah, God, I'm going to bake you a challah every single Friday and leave it in the ark for you to eat and enjoy. And so every single Friday, the baker took the most beautiful challah that they baked for that week. They placed it in the ark. And a little bit after they placed it in the ark, every single Friday, the shamas came and found the challah and took it home to their family. And God smiled, looking at the town with their baker and their shamas. Shabbat Shalom. And don't worry, all of you will be able to have a little bit of this beautiful challah at the end of services. We now turn in our Siddurim, in our prayer books, to page 282. And we rise again in body or in spirit, facing towards the east, towards Jerusalem, towards the doors behind us, for the Aleinu.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu kiyuye haratzot, velo samanu vanachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu,
Letaken olam b'malchut Shaddai,
V'nemar, v'haya Adonai, lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
As we face back in towards the community, creating a congregation of support, we turn to page 294 and our mourners Kaddish, because we never conclude a service without sacred memory, remembering our loved ones who are no longer with us. This Shabbat, we remember the yard sites of Jenny Berg, Tilly Blumberg, Michael Brown, David Berg, Leslie Berkman, Elise Kripp Mayer, Jacob Simeon Farber, Francis Firstman, Teresa Finn, Lester Frank, Betty Friedman, Janice Gangle, Harold Goldman, Peter Hahn, Jack Halpert, Richard Hyman, William Jacobson, Albert Kimiatek, Faye Leith, Paul Levenstein, Kenneth Levy, Ruth Lichter, Doris D. Lurie, Joseph Malcha, Anna Margolis, Stasha Mirel, Judith Morenberg, Gerald G. Rothstein, Anna Schwartz, Anne Siflinger, Judith Smith, Samuel Stein, and Joel Weinstein. And during the month of Shloshim, we remember William Vodyansky, the father of Irina Boverman, Charlotte Michelson Frank, the grandmother of Jane Murphy and Gail Karp, and Laura Marie Kaplan, the sister-in-law of Jenny Kaplan. If there are other names you're remembering this Shabbat, please share them now as I look around the room. For all those we name out loud and for those we name in our hearts, we join together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, bi'alma divrach yirutei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayachonu v'yomechonu v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, b'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru amen, yehei shmei rabbah mavarach la'alam ulmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ah v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitada v'yitalei v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha brichu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da miran ba'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam livracha, may their memories always be for a blessing. And together let us say, amen. If you'll please be seated. There's a tradition on Shabbat of sharing the priestly blessing with our children. But the truth is that everyone can receive and give a blessing, and no one is too old to receive the priestly blessing. And this prayer that is one of the most ancient that we have written in our Torah, when we receive it, has been adapted and taken by Lexi into this beautiful arrangement with additional words for the priestly blessing that we'll now offer to one another. And it's a beautiful moment to receive this blessing the blessing of having Lexi in our midst and sharing her words and music with us. And so if it's comfortable, if you're with the people that you'd like to, if you want to put your arms around the people you're with, if you want to place hands on children or one another, because again, we can always share the blessing with each other, we're now going to offer this blessing.
Yalla lie lie, yalla lie lie lie, yalla lie lie lie. Try that with me. Yalla lie lie lie, yalla lie lie lie, yalla lie lie lie. May you be blessed with a life so pure and holy. May your fears and doubts subside. May your days be filled with endless wonder, and may He guide you home. May your days be outnumbered by the chances that you take, and may you find strength of your own. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Yair Adonai panav elecha, v'chuneka yisa Adonai panav elecha, v'yasem lecha. May you ride on the wings of your heroes. May you live to reach your dreams. May He watch over you and grant you protection, and may He light the way. May your life be enchanted by the moments that you laugh, and may you cast your light. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Yair Adonai panav elecha, v'chuneka yisa Adonai panav elecha, v'yasem lecha. Shalom. Yalla lie, yalla lie lie 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 lie. Just our voices as one community. Yalla lie lie lie, yalla lie lie lie, yalla lie lie lie.
I don't think there's any other prayer that makes me quite so verklempt, to use the Yiddish word that my father-in-law would use in those settings. And
I'm getting verklempt.
yes, and I just have to reflect there. And Alison, I think also we've talked about this, but we did a Shabbat B'Yachad service in November. I think it was 2021. I'm thinking, which was, and it happened to be that week when they'd announced that there was a COVID vaccine for the children. And then Lexi sang that prayer, and from that moment on, when I hear that prayer, that's it, I'm gone.
We all lose it.
And that's it. So we lose it in that way. But the good thing is, if you've enjoyed listening to Lexi's beautiful voice this evening, you can hear her again because she's with us again next week. But I also want to encourage you that on Facebook, Lexi does share a lot of her beautiful Jewish music that she composes. A number of the tunes that we heard this evening, a number of the arrangements are her own compositions. You can also find her on Spotify, SoundCloud, Amazon Music, all those other places. But I do recommend following along. And so if you're going to join us next week, just to let you know that next week we have a barbecue as well with our services, where we're going to be welcoming, amongst other things, we're going to be welcoming Rabbi Lisa Iderson, and we're going to be welcoming Leah Staffin, who's joined our team back again as our Director of Community Engagement. Leah's just over there. Just a thank you to Leah for all of her work in terms of the organization behind the scenes of the service. Thank you to Alison Weichel for all her help with the service. Shabbat B'yachad, Shabbat Yeladim. Thank you to John for ensuring that we're seen and heard. And of course, an enormous thank you to Lexi for adding her voice to ours for this service. As the grape juice comes around, just a few other things to mention, that I'm inviting our new members who've joined us from Congregation B'nai Torah to join me for coffee this Wednesday, July 12th at 1:30. Then on Thursday, the 13th, I'm hosting the first session of our Young Family Summer Fun, known as Summer Yeladim. You can join me here, 10:30, under the canopy, and we'll be playing fun and games outside. Ace have Mahjong that day as well at 1:30. Please register for all those events on the website. Friday, 7 a.m., the men of TST are invited for the men's monthly coffee at Bagel Table. And I think, last thing, on Sunday, the 16th of July, we have a Europe trip taking place next year to Berlin and Prague. If you're interested in finding out more about that, we have an information session that morning, 9 a.m. via Zoom. Again, register on the website. If this is your first time at Temple Shir Tikva, please do come say hello to us at the end of service. And if you're here for numerous times, please also come and say hello to us at the end of services, because it's always lovely to see all of you joining us. Thank you again to Lexi. I'm going to invite the kids in the community to come forward, join around, gather around with us. Kids, come forward, come join us for grape juice for Kiddush. Kids, we're going to rise now in body or in spirit. And kids, please come up. Kids. And so we're going to join with Lexi for our Kiddush on page 5 in our Siddurim.
I'll pretend. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu. V'shabbat kodsho v'yahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim kivanu v'charta v'otanu kidasha mikol hamim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat achayim.
So as the challah is in the bag, we're going to do our old custom. Kids, reach in, touching the bag. Don't worry, no one's touching the challah, but we can all touch the bag.
Different times now.
Yeah, but we touch the bag of the challah. And we join together in this blessing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz shavai avon.
Te'avon, everyone. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Yalai lalai lai yalai lalai lai yalai lalai lai yalalai 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 lalai lai yalai lalai lai yalai lalai lai yalalai yalalai yalai lalai lai yalai lai yalai lalai lai yalai lai lai. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom.